So for Macax 2015, we created RandomToDo, which is a to-do application that you don't create any of the to-dos on it. The to-dos are all, from your viewpoint, random and shared amongst everybody who opens the app. So here we're looking at the dashboard, and we see a selection of these kind of random to-do items. Each one of these comes from our server, and anybody who opens the app right now would have the same list of random to-dos. And so the idea is that this sort of motivates you to do some kind of quirky, weird action. And when you do it, you're then connected to everyone else in the world who's done that action as well. You're connected to an aggregated feed of their photos and their chat and everything that's happened surrounding that to-do for as long as that to-do exists. And our idea is that these would be sort of time sensitive, that they'd kind of expire maybe after a couple days and there'd be new to-dos to do. So when you click on a to-do, we first go to this gallery view, which is sort of an image-centric kind of exploration of what everyone else has done. So this just wouldn't be like your friends list, what they've done or anything. This would be the entire feed of people who have done that to do. This is how you're connected, and you can kind of explore what they've done. You can see comments that people have left, or you can leave your own comments here. So everybody gets to sort of partake in this kind of like weird cultural meme, this sort of a tiny little experience. We can see at the bottom we have these three tabs in total. So the other view that we have is this feed view. So the original idea for RandomToDo was that when you completed one of these to-do actions, you were dropped into a chat room with all of the other people that had done that to-do that day. So we get to see all of the comments on an image, and then we can also see all of the chats that get posted. So when we just posted a message here, we see that as a chat, the sort of just the black text. And then the orange or red text that comes up with the quotes, that's a comment on a photo. And if we click on it, we get to go to that photo that's associated, of course, with that to-do.
So here is our code. Let's take a look at the server code first. And we're using loopback. And this is our model definition for the to-do entity. It has an ID, of course, title, description, mediums, because we did plan on potentially supporting like audio or videos as well as pictures. We also have timestamps for modified and created dates. And there's other relationships, too, of how messages connect to to-dos. So you'll see that in the demo. And also submissions for each of the to-dos made by our users. So like Andrew mentioned, all this is being stored in Couchbase, so we can go into the console and see what that looks like.
So one of the really nice things about this Couchbase interface is that it gives us real-time analytics on what our database is doing. So right here we can see that we're kind of, we're averaging maybe around 1,000 operations per second. So this was really useful while developing the app, because I can tell you right now at 1,000 operations per second, the app is actually just idling on one phone. So what this helped us figure out is we actually have a bug. Right now, our app is refreshing all of the views constantly. This is sort of an Angular bug that went out of control, and the way we were able to track it down, because it's still performant on the mobile devices, we're able to track it down by seeing the real-time analytics that Couchbase offers us. We can see that our database is being accessed 1,000 times a second, in a situation where it absolutely should not be. So having all of these views available to us were really quite nice during development. Glavin was able to spot this when he was just poking around in the Couchbase web interface. We saw this kind of crazy activity, and we were able to track down the bug.
So here is our Strong Loop API. This is the Swagger 2.0 documentation that's automatically generated using Loopback. And this is looking at our model for to-dos. So you can actually simulate what the requests are. Let's try it out. Hey, look, there's planking something and milking, a bunch of different to-dos. We can actually take this ID and go down, and let's see what submissions are available for that to-do ID. So submissions here. I'm going to type in the ID. And this is actually the kind of queries that our web app makes, or in this case our iOS app makes, to resolve these. And then now we actually have the submission objects. And that's what's being rendered in our iOS application. And what's nice about using loopback with Angular, which is what Ionic uses, and also with the Couchbase as our database, we were able to find a community connector such that we can connect loopback with Couchbase seamlessly. And we did a little work to make sure that worked properly with the latest version of Couchbase, and Nickel is our query language. And then we were able to generate an Angular API from loopback that we could simply copy into our code and begin using. And we can take a look at that now. So let's go into our client-side code. So this is our to-do model from the server, and it actually generates this file here. It's a very big computer-generated file with all the API connectors. Let's not get into that, but what's nice is that what it results in is being able to make simple queries like this that return promises. So we can simply say, give me the to-do, and find all by ID, which is essentially the query that we just made in the Explorer.
So when we're writing our client-side code, we don't have to write out any of these actual API requests by hand, right? All of that's provided to us through this loopback-generated file, and then we get to use these nice, tiny little guys in Angular code that make it a lot simpler for us.
Exactly. So this call right here equates to effectively this big call here.